You know that feeling. The credits roll on the final episode, and it's this weird mix of satisfaction and pure emptiness. You've just spent hours, days, maybe even weeks living in another world with characters who honestly felt like friends. And then, poof, it's over. You're left craving more of that world, more of that adventure, more of that feeling. But what if the adventure doesn't have to end? What if I told you there's a way to get that magic back? I found 7 incredible video games that are basically the spiritual successors to your favorite shows, capturing the exact same vibe you've been missing. Stick around because you're about to find your next obsession.
Let's start with a modern classic, the show that redefined the TV crime drama, True Detective, specifically that landmark first season. It followed 2 detectives in Louisiana, Rust Cole and Marty Hart, on a 17-year hunt for a ritualistic serial killer. But what made it unforgettable wasn't just the case, it was the thick, philosophical atmosphere and that oppressive sense of cosmic dread hanging over the bayou. It was a story about how a dark investigation can chew you up and spit you out, blurring the line between the investigators and the monsters they're hunting. If you were gripped by that slow burn psychological horror and the feeling of 2 partners staring into an abyss, then you need to step into the world of Alan Wake 2. The developers at Remedy have openly said True Detective was a major inspiration, and it shows in the best way possible. The game follows FBI agent Saga Anderson as she arrives in the Pacific Northwest town of Bright Falls to investigate a series of ritualistic murders connected to a group called the Cult of the Tree. Sound familiar? From the very first scene, the game nails that same tone, a grounded procedural investigation that slowly gets poisoned by something ancient and supernatural. The parallels are uncanny. The game is split between 2 playable characters, Saga, the pragmatic FBI agent, and Alan Wake, the horror author trapped in a dark dimension for 13 years. Saga's side is pure detective work, where you piece clues together on a caseboard just like in the show. Her investigation through those eerie, rain-soaked woods feels like a direct echo of Cole and Hart's descent into the rotting heart of rural Louisiana. Meanwhile, Alan's sections are a surreal dive into madness as he tries to literally write his way back to reality. Both stories are about more than solving a crime. They're about the nature of reality, belief, and the stories we tell ourselves to survive. They explore how darkness can manifest, not just as a killer, but as a force that corrupts places and people. If you miss those philosophical car rides and that chilling sense that you're investigating something far older and more sinister than a single murderer, then picking up Saga Anderson's flashlight in Alan Wake 2 will feel like stepping right back into that beautiful, terrifying darkness.
Let's talk about a show that dug into our brains and just refused to leave: Severance. Apple TV's slow-burn psychological thriller about corporate control and fractured identity. It gave us a chilling future where employees at Lumen sever their consciousness. The innie knows nothing but the sterile, maze-like office, while the outie remembers nothing about the workday. It was a masterpiece of atmosphere, mixing boring office life with a growing sense of surreal dread wrapped in a mystery about what Lumen is really doing. If you were captivated by that feeling of being trapped in a building that bends the rules of reality, where corporate jargon hides something sinister, then you need to play Control. Developed by Remedy, Control is the video game's soulmate to Severance. Even the show's creator has mentioned games like it as inspiration. The moment you step into the game's setting, the oldest house, you get hit with that same uncanny Severance energy. Just like Lumen's severed floor, the oldest house is a brutalist, shifting building full of bureaucracy and reality-bending weirdness. It's home to the Federal Bureau of Control, a secret agency that handles paranormal events. You play as Jesse Faden, searching for your missing brother, drawn into the oldest house by a supernatural call. Almost immediately, you become the Bureau's new director and get the shape-shifting service weapon. Your job? Clear out a parasitic force called the Hiss that has possessed the minds of the staff. A hostile entity taking over office workers inside a sprawling, impossible building? Sound familiar? Control blends the mundane with the bizarre perfectly. One moment you're reading memos about janitor budgets, and the next you're finding redacted files about beings from other dimensions. It's the exact same tightrope Severance walks, corporate monotony mixed with cosmic horror. But the deeper connection is the structure of the mystery. Both stories are about uncovering a massive conspiracy by exploring one single, impossible place. In Severance, the team slowly pieces together Lumen's dark truth by exploring their strange office hallways. In Control, Jesse uncovers the Bureau's secrets and the nature of reality itself by navigating the shifting corridors of the oldest house. Both heroes are trying to make sense of a world where the rules they know simply don't apply. If the eerie liminal spaces and oppressive corporate mystery of Severance left you wanting more, then stepping into the oldest house in Control will feel like coming home. A very strange and very dangerous home. The Mandalorian landed on Disney Plus and instantly became a cultural phenomenon. It proved that Star Wars could feel gritty, grounded, and deeply personal. It proved that it's a true space western, following a lone bounty hunter wandering the lawless edges of the galaxy. He's a man of few words, bound by a strict creed, whose entire life changes the moment he's tasked with protecting a mysterious child. It's a story about fatherhood, honor, and a hardened outlaw slowly discovering purpose. If you were drawn to that quiet, stoic gunslinger energy, that beautifully realized frontier atmosphere, and that emotional journey from loner to protector, then you absolutely need to play Red Dead Redemption 2. The connection between these two stories runs deep. One might be set in space and the other in the fading years of the American West, but they share the same beating heart. Both are tales about the end of an era and the outlaws who are desperately trying to find their place in a world that no longer wants them. In Red Dead Redemption 2, you play as Arthur Morgan, a rugged, complex enforcer in the Vanderlinde gang. Like Din Djarin, Arthur begins as a gruff professional who simply lives by the code he was raised in. But as the world shifts beneath his feet, everything he believes is challenged. His mentor collapses into madness, his gang fractures, and Arthur is forced to confront the truth about his own life and his own soul. Just like Mando, Arthur's journey becomes a slow, powerful walk toward redemption, toward doing the right thing, even when it costs everything. It's emotional, it's personal, and it hits with the exact same weight as watching a hardened warrior become a father. Red Dead Redemption 2 doesn't just tell a story, it lets you live in it. You'll hunt on quiet mornings, brawl in saloons, ride through breathtaking landscapes, and share soft moments of reflection by a campfire under the open sky. It has the same soul as the Mandalorian, a dangerous man shaped by a code, slowly learning what it means to be good. If The Mandalorian left you craving another beautifully written Outlaw's redemption arc, Arthur Morgan is waiting for you. Arcane wasn't just another video game adaptation, it was a milestone in modern animation. Set in the League of Legends universe, the show delivered a raw, emotional story about two sisters, Vi and Jinx, caught on opposite sides of a rising war. It showed us a world split clean in two: Piltover, the brilliant city of progress, and Zaun, the toxic, oppressed undercity drowning beneath it. And that powderpunk style, part Art Deco, part steampunk, part hand-painted madness, created a universe that felt both fantastical and painfully real. Arcane was about class struggle, technological revolution, and heartbreaking personal loss. If you were mesmerized by Arcane's world, its blend of strange powers, tech, and political chaos, then you absolutely owe it to yourself to step into the city of Dunwall in Dishonored. And in the most perfect twist of fate, the game was made by Arcane Studios. Yes, Arcane made Dishonored, and Arcane is Arcane. Destiny? Maybe. Dishonored feels like an interactive version of Arcane's world, a grim industrial whaling city powered by unstable whale oil, creating obscene wealth for the elites and misery for everyone else. Sounds familiar, right? Even the art style looks like Arcane's gritty cousin, a painterly, stylized realism where every face reflects its character and class. You play as Corvo Attano, the Empress's loyal bodyguard who's framed for her murder and thrown into prison. A resistance group frees you, and a mysterious entity called the Outsider grants you supernatural powers. From there, you become a masked assassin, slipping across rooftops, using gadgets and void abilities like teleportation or even possession to dismantle the conspiracy that destroyed your life. The gameplay feels like Arcane's action sequences brought to life. Imagine playing as Vi or Echo, sprinting across rooftops, planning ambushes, mixing stealth, parkour, and raw power in a dense vertical city. That's Dishonored at its core. And just like Arcane, the game is obsessed with how political, technological, and supernatural power reshapes society. You witness the sharp divide between the extravagant balls of the rich and the plague-ridden slums where the poor are simply abandoned. Sounds familiar, right? Even the art style looks like Arcane's gritty cousin, a painterly, stylized realism where every face reflects its character and class. You play as Corvo Attano, the Empress's loyal bodyguard who's framed for her murder and thrown into prison. A resistance group frees you, and a mysterious entity called the Outsider grants you supernatural powers. From there, you become a masked assassin, slipping across rooftops, using gadgets and void abilities like teleportation or even possession to dismantle the conspiracy that destroyed your life. The gameplay feels like Arcane's action sequences brought to life. Imagine playing as Vi or Echo, sprinting across rooftops, planning ambushes, mixing stealth, parkour, and raw power in a dense vertical city. That's Dishonored at its core. And just like Arcane, the game is obsessed with how political, technological, and supernatural power reshapes society. You witness the sharp divide between the extravagant balls of the rich and the plague-ridden slums where the poor are simply abandoned. Even Dishonored's runes and bone charms echo Arcane's strange, volatile energy. And the best part? Your choices shape the world. You can be a silent ghost, never harming a soul, or a furious storm of vengeance. The more violent you are, the darker Dunwall becomes. Its themes, its energy, its visual style, Dishonored is the definitive game for anyone craving more of Arcane's world. And hey, if you're digging these recommendations, tap that like button. It seriously helps the channel grow. And I want to know, what are your dream show-to-game pairings? Drop your best ideas down in the comments. Alright, let's get back to it. Stranger Things became a global sensation by capturing pure 80s nostalgia and mixing it with supernatural horror. It's the story of a group of nerdy, lovable kids in a small Indiana town who stumble onto something terrifying, a gateway to another dimension, a secret government experiment, and a mysterious girl with telekinetic powers. It's Spielberg, it's Stephen King, it's childhood, friendship, and growing up, all wrapped in a supernatural mystery. If you fell in love with that blend of teen angst, small-town secrets, and extraordinary abilities, you have to play Life is Strange. The game captures the exact same energy, a quiet town suddenly flicked upside down by something impossible. You play as Max Caulfield, a photography nerd and high school senior living in the sleepy coastal town of Arcadia Bay. And one day, Max discovers she can rewind time. Just like Eleven's arrival in Hawkins, Max's power sets off a chain reaction. She reconnects with her rebellious childhood friend, Chloe Price, and together they start digging into the disappearance of a fellow student. What begins as a personal investigation spirals into a race against fate itself, as Max has visions of an oncoming catastrophe threatening the entire town. Life is Strange balances supernatural mystery with grounded teenage drama perfectly. It's about friendships, bullies, grief, identity, all the messy, emotional chaos of growing up, while a mind-bending sci-fi story unfolds in the background. And just like Stranger Things, everything comes down to the relationships at the center. The bond between Mike and Eleven and the fierce loyalty of the whole party is the heart of the show. In the same way, the emotional core of Life is Strange is the rekindled friendship between Max and Chloe. Every choice you make shapes their relationship and ultimately the fate of Arcadia Bay.
If you're craving another story about unbreakable friendships standing against a mysterious world-altering threat, walking the halls of Blackwell Academy will feel like stepping right back into Hawkins. Game of Thrones redefined fantasy for an entire generation. It gave us a world, Westeros, that felt brutal, political, and terrifyingly real. A place where honor could get you killed, and a single betrayal could rewrite history. This wasn't simple good versus evil. It was gray morality, political scheming, and the devastating human cost of war. If that mature, gritty, power struggle kind of fantasy is what you're craving, then there is no better world to dive into than The Witcher 3: Wild Hunt. While Game of Thrones juggles massive families and rival kingdoms, The Witcher 3 centers on one man, Geralt of Rivia, a professional monster hunter, but the world around him is every bit as brutal and complex as Westeros. The continent is a land ripped apart by war. Kingdoms rise and fall. Humans, elves, and dwarves sit on the edge of open conflict. And in every village, tavern, and battlefield, you feel the weight of political tension. Just like Game of Thrones, the world feels lived in, scarred by conflict, and shaped by ambition. One moment, you're riding through a field littered with corpses, and the next, you're navigating a city where schemers whisper in dark corners. And the choices? They're pure, agonizing moral gray. There is no right answer, only the lesser of two evils. The political intrigue between the ruthless Nilfgaardian Empire and the fractured Northern Kingdoms feels straight out of the wars between the Lannisters, Starks, and Baratheons. But the heart of the connection is thematic. Geralt, much like Jon Snow or Tyrion Lannister, is an outsider trying to do the right thing in a world that rarely rewards it. He's cynical, weary, and constantly dragged into the machinations of kings, witches, and powerful institutions he never asked to serve. The Witcher 3 doesn't just tell you about the horrors of war, it makes you walk through burned villages, listen to grieving families, and confront the consequences of every choice. If you miss the lore, the intrigue, the betrayals, and that bleak, morally gray universe that made Game of Thrones unforgettable, then taking on a contract as Geralt of Rivia will feel like stepping back into a dark, mature fantasy world that refuses to let you look away. For years, Black Mirror has been our go-to for sharp, unsettling stories about the dark side of technology. Each episode is its own chilling what if, taking some piece of emerging tech, social media, AI, virtual reality, and pushing it to its most terrifying conclusion. It's a show obsessed with uncomfortable questions about what it means to be human in a world that's becoming more digital than physical. It dives into consciousness, identity, free will, and the nightmarish fallout of our own inventions. And because it's an anthology, finding a single game that captures Black Mirror's range is tough. You need a game rooted in one powerful idea, but capable of exploring it from every angle. That's exactly why the perfect match is Detroit: Become Human. This game feels like an entire season of Black Mirror, built around one terrifyingly plausible invention: androids that are physically and intellectually identical to humans. In Detroit's near future, these androids are everywhere: maids, construction workers, police investigators. But then something starts to happen. They wake up. They develop self-awareness, emotions, desires, a phenomenon the world calls deviancy. Detroit: Become Human isn't just a game. It's an interactive drama where your choices shape the whole narrative. You play as 3 different androids, each offering a unique lens on the crisis. There's Kara, a domestic android who goes on the run to protect a little girl from her abusive father. Her story explores motherhood, trauma, and the lengths we go to for those we love. There's Marcus, who becomes the leader of an android revolution, forcing you to choose between peaceful protest or violent uprising, echoing real-world civil rights movements. And then there's Connor, an advanced prototype designed to hunt down deviant androids, constantly torn between his programming and the growing possibility that he might be alive. Every moment feels like a moral dilemma straight from a Black Mirror writer's room. When an android begs for its life, is it truly afraid or just running flawless code? If androids gain rights, what does that mean for humanity? Where does consciousness begin? Where does life begin? The branching story is massive. Your decisions, dialogue choices, split-second reactions, life or death calls shape everything, leading to dozens of possible endings. If you love how Black Mirror uses technology to expose our biases, fears, and darkest instincts, then Detroit Become Human is one of the most powerful, thought-provoking worlds you can experience. It confronts the exact same questions, but puts them directly in your hands. So there you have it, 7 games to fill that void your favorite show left behind. From the grim, philosophical mystery of Alan Wake 2, to the political, mature fantasy of The Witcher 3, and the corporate nightmare of Control, these games don't just imitate the shows we love, they expand their ideas. They let you step inside those worlds, make choices, shape destinies, and live the story from the inside out. It's proof that a great world, a great message, and a great feeling can cross mediums. Your next big story? It's just waiting for you to press start. Now I want to hear from you. What shows and games do you think are secret soulmates? And which series should I tackle in the next video? Drop your suggestions in the comments below. And if you had a good time, hit subscribe and tap that bell so you don't miss the next time we bridge the gap between the screen and the controller. Thanks for watching.